Hello YouTube, this is Morgan, Airspeed Prime here with my next The Dawn of Yangchen chapter analysis video. This one's going to be for chapter 22, Legitimate Business. So in this chapter we have Yangchen arriving on Inca Island to deal with the aftermath of the Sawan clan breaking the deal that she made with the Phoenix Eel spirits there. And the chapter can really be summed up by Yangchen just being absolutely furious with the leaders of the Sawan clan for going against these clear terms she made sure to tell them exactly about. And that's exactly what this whole chapter is about. So we start off here. She arrives at Inca Island. There's a few interesting details that we get here. Her immediate predecessor, Avatar Zito, had skillfully managed the Sawan and their rival noble houses during a time of deep crisis in his homeland and tempered ancient feuds into a lasting peace. Yangchen thought she had lived up to Zito's legacy with a victory of her own the last time she was in Inca. The message to her that Chasey had intercepted had proven otherwise. So she's annoyed about what happened from before, that Chasey intercepted this message and was able to completely take her out of the picture for a while by just telling her about this. So when she arrives there, we see that it's Duke Zolian, who is the current leader, head of the clan. That's Zolian. And they immediately kind of come out to meet her. And they bring out this box and she thinks it's a gift, and she's kind of like, no, this is not how this is going to go. This is not going to be some ceremonious Avatar visit like it was the last time. She felt she did everything perfectly the last time, and they're out here bringing her a gift. But she's just like, straight away, first thing she says to the Duke is like, shut up. And she's like, shut up. And it's basically like, do not speak until spoken to situation here. And then she's like, you only had one thing to do. It was working, and all you had to do was uphold your end of the bargain. You only had one thing to do and you mucked it up. And she's just like, speak, like explain yourselves, basically. And so finally they're like, Avatar, we understand you must be disappointed, but please let us explain. And she's like, what is there to explain? No human was meant to set foot within 3 li of the cavern edges. Did we not set up boundary warnings? Did we not communicate the terms to the assembled family heads before I left? There's nothing to explain. So, this is where we get the idea. I think it's explained more in the next chapter, but effectively the Phoenix Eel spirits, did spirit stuff to some of the people. They called Yangchen in. It was this, perfect Avatar visit. She negotiated the terms, and it worked. Everything was described to them correctly about follow this deal, follow these laws, and things will go well. And they broke them. So that's what we get here. And she's thinking to herself in her head that, like, they want to sort of explain away this. They want to, like, say that, no, we were reasonable for doing what we did. But she's just kind of like, we didn't think the rule applied to everyone. We broke the rule by accident and nothing bad happened immediately, so we figured it was fine. We didn't think you were serious. We thought the problem had eventually gone away by itself. We realized in retrospect that we just didn't care about anything other than what we wanted in the moment. And she just says to them, you've hamstrung my ability to help you again. Give me a reason why I shouldn't just leave right now and let you face the spirits on your own this time. So they bring up what was mentioned in the previous chapter, our children. As we wrote to you, the Phoenix Eel spirits they've done something to our children, a curse. Across the island, Sawan youth are not waking up from their slumber. They will waste away if we do nothing. And they're like, every healer on the island has tried to do something. Will bring you to see the effects. And before he can even get this out, Yangchen is like, no. Like, she kind of like says it very loudly and is like, violent refusal. She is not going to see these children. And it's kind of like, why? And the narration brings up the idea of, like, she's known for being this, like, healer who will help people. So this refusal is very, very notable. And this is what she says here. But to look upon a wasting dream, a peaceful form of a body damaged in spirit. No, she couldn't subject herself to that, not after what happened to Jetson. And she just says, I believe you, there's nothing to prove. You know, like, I can't heal them myself, so I don't need to see them. So something along these lines is what has happened to Jetson, where she never came back from the spirit world, that she's in some spirit-induced kind of coma thing. And obviously this was long enough ago where clearly Jetson's body died, and that's what happened. But we'll get more on this in the coming chapters, but they're becoming more and more open about it. We already know Jetson is dead. Now we find out that it was something spiritual related. You should already be connecting the dots of, like, I already told you that the second chapter of the book, Yangchen going to the spirit world for the first time, that we would come back to that. You know, I'll leave it there. So, this is where, you know, they kind of say, like, your initial message was delivered impeccably. It was our stubborn ears that refused to open. And, you know, throughout this, like, you get this very notable thing here of, like, we have done our best to show that we were wrong for what we did, that we have dishonored ourselves. And they open up the box, which she thought was a gift. And it's all these top knots. It's just a box filled with top knots from all of the, like, basically head people of the Sauwon clan. That they all feel a sense of dishonor for what they have done here. And then in front of Yangchen, the Duke and his younger cousin take out the knife and they cut off their top knots directly in front of Yangchen. And what's interesting, it's worded very kind of brutally in a way that it's almost described like when Yangchen sees the box of all these top knots, it's like it was like a box of organs effectively, and seeing two people like cut it off in front of her was like hard to take in a way because of the impact it has on them as as Fire Nation people. It's kind of noted that the Duke, who's kind of older, is like done for the day after that. Like he is so like emotionally like wounded by having to cut this off, like this physical like sense of showing his dishonor, that he's just like out of action. And so Lohai has to kind of take over for the rest of this kind of meeting with Yangchen here. The other thing is that this is another one of these very subtle Yangchen past life moments, in that obviously a quarter of those lives have been Fire Nation people who know all about the whole honor kind of system. And it's kind of mentioned the idea of, you know, like she'd been Fire Nation scores of times over, held her honor in the highest esteem, and lost it on a few occasions. The fact applied here as much as it did underneath the floorboards of Bin Ur. And there's almost a slight sense that she is feeling the way a kind of dishonored fire avatar would feel, seeing all of these kind of top knots, all this dishonor. And she's on the verge of almost getting sick because of effectively memories of past avatars. But she stops it, and it's just kind of noted like, okay, here's another one of these kind of like moments of like a, you know, remembering like a trauma in a way of a past avatar. Interesting. So, you know, the explanation here is effectively that what happened was that it was explained to all of the main families of the Sauwon clan what the rules of this agreement with the spirits are. But some of them never fully committed to it at the time when the kind of rules were established, and so just went on with their whatever they needed to do. They don't care about those rules. And so effectively what we get here is that the breach was effectively that they did farming within the region that they weren't meant to do because they needed it, because as we know, Fire Nation, it's all about sort of the how good the harvests are, how good the crops are, and things weren't going so great, so they needed every acre they could get, and they just thought that they could do this, and that's exactly what happened. And this is where we get that, yeah, Lohai notes that my Duke was unable to keep some of the branch houses from defying the contract. He's a good man, but occasionally soft when it comes to family. When it is my turn to lead the Sauwan, I promise you I will enforce unanimity within my clan. And she notes that, like, yeah, interesting choice of words there, given what's going on. And then very interesting way to end the chapter. She goes, hey, tell me something. Would the family heads who broke my agreement, would they have broken it if I had told them ahead of time that I had contacted Avatar Zito and that the terms of the agreement came directly from Zito, and it was just me who physically wrote them down on paper? And it's an interesting kind of question of just like, you know, in the Fire Nation, Zito's name was a sledgehammer. She had trotted out. Her decree to stay away from the sacred cenotes would have landed upon the Sauwan with the force of a mother, a father, a Sifu, the Fire Lord, all rolled into one. She could have leveraged her predecessor's credibility, provided she was willing to acknowledge she had none herself. And Lohai's like, did you talk to Zito? As in, like, oh, that was the case? Like, we didn't know that. That would have changed things. And she just grabs her glider and heads off to the Phoenix Eels. And it's just this moment of, like she handled the situation perfectly. But they just thought that the rules didn't need to be followed as closely as they were laid out. And then at the end, just kind of pointing out the idea that, oh, so if someone you, in a way, like, trusted or respected a little bit more had said it, you actually would have believed it. And Yangchen is just left in this position of, like, you know, what am I meant to do? If I'm too nice to people, they just ignore what I say. But if I'm too mean, I'm viewed as being this, you know, like, Avatar doing things the wrong way. And she's just kind of, you know, in a way, trapped either way in terms of what she's meant to do. And it's meant to, you're meant to view this scene as definitely just another one of these moments of just, like, you know, the cracks beginning to form here for Yangchen. We've already seen little, like, explosions of, like, kind of anger about certain things. This is another one of those ones. And it's just kind of like, okay, so I guess this is another thing I'm going to have to do, is to use my past avatars to my advantage and be like, oh yeah, I talked to Zito, he told me that this is the best way to do things. I'm like, okay. And then I suppose at some point she's going to be like, you know, Salai told me this and this will convince someone else and all this sort of stuff. And it's like, she's just like, it shouldn't have to be that way. That she has to rely on effectively lying or about the people, like, about getting information from people who other people respect, but that's just the way it is for her at this point. So the next chapter goes more into the details with the Phoenix Eels, but for now this is just the setup here and just highlighting effectively this is what happened before, it was broken, and now they are coming to Yangchen again, begging her to try and protect the children. So interesting chapter. More on what happened to Jetson, in that you basically find out, okay, so, you know, her body died while something happened to her spirit is what happened to her. When will we get more on that? And it will be coming. So, yeah, in the comments, let me know what your thoughts are on this chapter, but that's been the video. Thanks for watching, and bye.